Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wanderlust Live. So I'm so excited to be with you. Hopefully, everything is all set to go. So I'm sorry, I don't have a fancy setup. So my camera can only point down. It's like Jimmy rigged. So you won't be able to see my face, but I am here. We're going to have a great time. And we're going to have a lot of kind of steps. So I think this will work out great. But welcome to Wanderlust Live. And I'm so happy that you're here. So we're going to make these little wacky flowers is how we're going to begin. And don't forget to tell us where you're from too. I'd love to see. I can see the chat, so I'll glaze over. And if you have questions that I don't get to, of course, I will go back in the chat and see, make sure everything's okay and that your questions are answered too. But these are so fun and easy to make. They're just made with paper scraps. I have a container here full of them. And we're also going to do a little bit of monoprinting too, because sometimes it's fun to add on to your scraps too. So I'm going to bring this out of the way and we will get started here because, as I said, there's a lot going on in this little class. If you want the supply list, that has been supplied to by wonderful Wanderlust. So that is awesome. So I hope you guys can hear me okay. And hello, everyone. Wow, I'm so happy that you're here. It's been a really long time since I went live, so this is always great. So let's start out with mono printing. We're going to use a plastic bag, and then this is wax paper, but you could use parchment paper. You could even use a jelly plate if you have that too. And I just have some plain mark making tools, just a brush to apply the paint. You don't need a brayer, and just a fork and a skewer and a piece of string. You can use a bottle cap, whatever you want is totally fine. But sometimes you just need simple supplies to do something spectacular. And I'm going to actually monoprint on these little pieces of scrapbooking paper. I don't know about you, but I used to be a scrapbooker. In fact, I made guest books with scrapbooking paper for a few weddings, and I used to sell them. And I have a ton of scrapbooking paper in my stash, but I like to kind of make it my own. So I thought we would maybe print on that, but you can print on whatever. Plain paper works great for this. It doesn't matter. So I just have a couple of plain colors here, and I'm just going to apply them first to just the piece of wax paper, parchment paper, whatever you're using, fine. And I'm going to just spread this out. As you say, it spreads very nicely. And then we can go in, and of course you can take your skewer and you can make marks. Maybe I'll use this side. I think that's a little better. I love circles, so we'll use those. And it's so fun and easy. This is great to do with kids if you have it and you have kind of your own custom paper. You do want to work a little bit fast. I probably should have put on a bigger layer. Let's do this piece. We're just going to press it down, give it a nice press. Your hands might get a little dirty, but I don't mind that part. And then you can add this to your stash. But it gives really cool impression. That original pattern is kind of obscured a little bit, so it's really fun. And you can keep going and keep layering on top, of course. We can even go on here a little bit and add maybe some of the fork. You could even incorporate another color if you want. Go here. I am from Colorado, so that's where I am live streaming from, but it's really pretty and it just adds a little layer. I'm going to put this brush in my water here, which is an old Reese's can. Let's do one more. I don't want to spend the whole time doing that because we have other stuff to do too, but let's do a plastic bag, which is so much fun to jelly print on. And maybe we'll grab the pink here. I'm going to use my paper as a palette. And let's grab another brush. And we can do lots of different things. I love circles though, so I'll do a few little circles. And I kind of just group them together. And then within here, you can even turn over your brush and kind of make some lines in some of those. And I just love monoprinting because it's great for mark making. Like it's not perfect. It's not a perfect impression. Hello, everyone. Okay, so maybe let's do this one. This one is hard to use. Okay, so we'll use that one. You can print those ones that are kind of like, how am I going to use this? It's a little too colorful, but it's fun. So you see a little bit of the pattern there. So it's really fun. And I'll show you one like on this one too, so you can really see. This is just a plain index card. Maybe this one we'll just do. And I'm just going right over. We can even add another color too, just to spice it up a bit. But it just kind of makes those paper scraps or whatever kind of paper you like using a little bit more special, I think, which I'm always looking for. And if you would love to sign up for Wanderlust, it's a mixed media art journaling course that's year-long. There will be a link so you can check it out. There's so many amazing teachers. I'm so excited for the projects, but look at how that looks. That is so cool. So we're going to put that aside. You can keep going. This is so addictive. It's so much fun. And I'm so excited that they put all of this together, and these are tools that you can use. So much fun. So let's start compiling our flowers. So you're just going to need your scraps. I'm going to use a glue stick, and I have some scissors here too. You can also use wet glue too. So do whatever you like. It's totally fine. And then I'm also going to use some paint pens here just to add some little details. Paint pens, markers, it doesn't matter. Whatever you have is totally fine. And maybe we'll add some embellishments too. So we're just going to cut out just shapes. Petal shapes. They can be rounded petal shapes. They can be a little bit chubby and short. They can be kind of diagonal. Just think of a shape of a flower petal. So this is paper that I marbled. And it's on, I think it's on like tracing paper. And I'm just going to start cutting out shapes. So very, very easily. And I love these flowers. You can add them into your journals. They're so much fun to make and create. And they're not perfect. If you wanted to make a flower that had all the same petals, you could totally do that. But I wanted these to be a little wacky and fun, like me. So I try not to be so perfect when I'm creating art. Yeah, it's about the process, which is definitely what Wanderlust is all about too. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of this and that you're all here with me. It's great. So we're going to just cut out some shapes. You can cut out as many or few as you want. Let me just show you here how they look. That's kind of the shape that I'm using. And I'm not really worried about different colors, like if they combine together. And I just have a bunch of different papers in here. So there's scrapbooking paper. This is from a gift bag that someone gave me. So you can use gift bags, wrapping paper, all of it works. Security envelopes. I'm sure you guys have quite a stash of your own beautiful paper. Like I said, I use paper underneath my desk is my palette. So I have a ton of that always, but just different weights of paper really helps this process. And you can even do 2 at a time. I mean, I'm cutting out every petal, but that's not necessary. I just folded this in half and I'm just going to cut it and then I'll cut it apart. And these do not have to be perfect. It's going to be fine. And we're going to embellish them too. So we'll open this up. And let's do this one. As I said, this would be a great project to do with your kids. And then you have it like it's collage fodder you can use in your journal or however you like. For cards, these are fun on cards. We're almost to, well, we're in fall right now, but it's been really hot. It's been like 89 degrees here. But it's beautiful. The trees are all changing, but so funny. We have crazy weather here and then we're going to get snow. And then I am going to use this piece of paper. This is from a magazine, so you can use magazines too. That works out great. They have great patterns too. You can even make leaves if you want, but I'm not going to do that. So we can even do like spiky ones. So we can go in here and or some that come to a really triangular point, I should say. Just like that. Okay. And let's do this one. I love black and white. I think it kind of brings things together. So you are going to need a center for your flower. So we can just cut out a circular shape, or you can make it into a square, whatever you want. These are supposed to be whimsical and fun. So we just need a center though. That's the important part. Then let's grab this. This is just under paper that has layers and layers of stuff on it. Okay, so just get a whole little stack. Alrighty, and I'm going to put one together, but I'll make more. And let's actually grab one of the ones that we printed with. I'm going to bring this aside here. Ooh, I love this one. I think that would be beautiful. Okay, so let's do this guy. We're just going to cut out a shape, and you can keep stacking these. So you can keep stacking the leaves. Wonderful. Okay, so let's grab our center here. So that's how that looks, so you can see it. And I like to turn it over on the back. We're going to apply some glue right to the back of our paper, and then you can start adding the petals. Now you can arrange this before if you want, so you can kind of, I like to be a little bit adventurous, and I just add in my petals and pieces. And you see that it starts to come together, right? And you can add as many petals as you want or as least as you want, but it all comes together. And if you wanted these to be more cohesive, like I said, I'm a crazy person, you could absolutely just use certain colors. So maybe you could stick to warm or cool colors, and that will work out great. You don't necessarily have to be a crazy person like me, but it's okay if you want to. I love this paper, and I can see that this one is going to need a little bit more glue, the one that has a lot of layers, but we're going to go with it. Put that there. I think that looks cool. Just like that. So that's our first one done, and you can keep adding. I mean, you could build these up so they have tons and tons of layers, kind of like that there. We'll add that. And what I love about this kind of process is you get to kind of trust yourself. That's why, you know, classes like Wanderlust are so great, because you learn from so many different teachers and you begin to develop your own style, right? So it's so much fun. So I hope you're enjoying. The link will be in the comments, and also it's in the description of this video, so you can check it out. And it's at a really good price right now. So I hope that you will join us. And my lesson is going to be really fun. It's going to deal with botanicals because I love those. So I love the way that this looks. We can embellish this even further. So I just have some pins here too. I discovered these pins, which I have linked in the description. They are, oh, I love that one. They're black and white pins, and they work really, really well. And they have a super fine tip. So they're the ZSCM pens, and they're really great. The black and white are awesome. And then I also have just a permanent marker. So I'm going to start just with the center, and I'm going to make a center of my flower. And then you can go in and just embellish however you want the petals of your flower. I'm just using a marker here, and maybe with, I love this one. I was going to color in the inside of it, but I can't do it. So I'm going to go ahead and don't mess what you love. If you're creating something, you don't have to force yourself to layer if you don't want to. I say keep what you like. And then I'm going to make just a swirly right on top here. And then we can add in some metallic. So we can go in and add that in. And then maybe on one of these, like here, we'll make a metallic. So it has like a metallic inside. Just adding some details. Nothing too fancy here. And I'm going to let this dry. That's why that one kind of bled, because I don't like to let things dry sometimes. So we'll just go in and just add some circles on top. And then if you want to, you can even add more embellishments. So I have here like some sequins and buttons, so you can add those if you want. Maybe you like sparkle. We can add one of these guys. You can even add words too. I'll show you my example. And for this, you could absolutely use a glue stick, but you might want to use wet glue. I'm just taking my finger and doing that. And we'll stick that in the center. If it'll stick. I think I might need wet glue, but it just gives it a little bit of sparkle, and you just keep embellishing. So I wish that I had a really good black so you could see that. Maybe here we'll add another line. And you can do more than one line. Doesn't have to be two. Let's use this one. And I'm just adding on top of my lines. And we can add another ring around here loosely. But just have fun, play, have a great time. We can do this guy and just do some dots here in the shape of kind of a petal. So they come together really fast and they're kind of cute. And they're definitely wacky, which is nice. Alrighty, so let's do another one. Let me check the time here. 14 after 15, actually. 15 minutes. That's not bad. I was like, I have to get it moving if I'm going to show you every little step. So we are going to actually put these into a journal page. So I might be moving a little bit quickly. But if you have questions, I will definitely answer them. Okay. So let's cut up some more of this paper. Make some more flowers. I love botanicals. I mean, it seems like I love them more in the winter. Kind of take them for granted when it's spring and summer. So, because they're all about to die, I think I really have an appreciation for them. And I just love using scraps. So I always try to think of ways to use them. I hope you guys like scraps too. Hopefully this is right up your alley. All right. All righty. But I love the way that that looks. And it kind of gives your scrapbooking paper like this painterly look, which is always nice. I'm impartial to like a dark center. So I really like black as a center. But you can use whatever colors you want. I'm going to grab, I painted some black index cards. So we'll use those. But you can just, pick one day to just cut out the petals. I think sometimes we think that we have to create art in one setting, but if you just have 5 minutes, hey, that's 5 minutes to do something. So maybe you can cut out something or just make it fit into your schedule. But I know art has helped me so much. Just to let go, to listen to my voice. It's such an important part of self-care. I think it's the most important part. Oh, I know so many friends that have super stressful jobs, and art has helped them so much. So it's important. So I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so we're going to turn this over on the back. Just like we did before. You might want to work on plastic. You can see that I'm sticking here a little bit. But I'm a rebel. Okay, and we're going to do this. And you can have baby wipes too. That helps a lot, which you guys probably already know. And we're going to build this up. You can turn it over and kind of see what you're working with. Looks really cool. I mean, a lot of these look really cool with just 4 petals. I mean, that is just perfect. I love that. You have to take the top off of the glue, Shemi. That would be helpful. There we go. Right? So that is a cool looking flower. And then if we add like a word, I love adding words too. So if you have an old book that you want to cut up, you can put that in there. And I found the word garden. So I'm going to add that here to the center of this one. And you don't have to embellish them if you don't want to add marks or anything like that. I think they look really cool just like this. So maybe we'll leave that one plain. And if you wanted to, you could keep going. So add as many or as few petals as you want. It's up to you. Okay. So let's do another one. I have sticky hands here. I'm going to grab a baby wipe. Wipe off the hands. Wet glue might be a little easier. Alrighty. Okay, so let's grab. I've not used this beautiful piece of paper. I'm going to use this one. It has cherries, which are so fun. I love cherries. Whenever it's the season for them, I always overeat them. Do you have a fruit like that? Oh my gosh, it's bad. Okay, so we'll go here and let's build this one up. I'm kind of letting it be a surprise. I don't know what is going to go well with that paper, but we're just going to see. They're supposed to be a little wacky and scrappy, so I'll just stick those down. And I started art journaling, I think about, I think it's been like 7 years. And I mean, I fell in love with it. I love art journaling. It's just such a wonderful creative practice. So it's so exciting. Being a teacher for Wanderlust has always been one of my dreams too. So I was so happy that I'm able to do it. I just love spreading creativity and inspiring people to be creative and coming up with ideas. It just fuels my soul. So it's a strange one, but it works. I'm going to keep it. Maybe we'll add some black. I think it needs some contrast. Yeah, it does. Okay, so let's go through our little scrap pile. I think this blue would work great because we have the orange. So yeah, we'll add that. And I'm just cutting out petal shapes. They don't have to be perfect at all. Yeah, I think that helps a lot. Okay. That's kind of cool. Alrighty, and this one let's embellish a bit. So let's add some black. Here. And I also have a Posca paint pen too. We're going to go over that. And kind of fill it in a bit. And then here I'm just going to go around. I'm going to do my best not to cover up those beautiful cherries. And let's add some purple. Kind of like Halloween, right? Purple and orange, but I kind of like them together sometimes. Okay, and then I have a metallic Sharpie. Those are fun to use. So let's do that. We'll just do a line here on that one. And just have fun. Just play and see what you can come up with. So much fun. We will outline that a little bit. This is a thin multi-ball pen. And my lesson for Wanderlust is going to be about paint pens. So I'm excited. And botanicals, which are definitely my favorite thing. So I'm super excited for that lesson. Alrighty. So for this one, we'll just do maybe some lines. I like lines sometimes. I didn't wait for that to dry very good. I get impatient. So I'm just going to get the black off of my pen. Okay, and I'll go here. And we'll make some dots around the center. Perfect. And this one we're going to add a button to. Or maybe a piece of sequins. Or we can add a little sparkly. So let's see here. Oh, I see a little red one. And I don't want to cover up the cherry, so These are Wacky flowers, right? So we're going to make it off center. So this is just Elmer's glue all, and we'll stick that down. And then I'm going to check the time. I think I have to get moving on to the background. So I'm just going to grab my washi tape. And I did put this upside down. That helps a little bit to get the waters out. Very good. So that one's kind of interesting, but we have a bunch of them. So these are ones that I made beforehand. So you see that I added a black line, and I can go in and doodle on top of these. I think that it's dried a little bit more. So we can add some white dots on there and just play, right? We can just add more lines and loops and dots and all the good stuff. Okay, so that's how those look. So I'm going to pick up just a little bit, and we're going to make our background. And I'm going to check the time here. I think we're still doing good. I want to give you guys plenty of time to go see the next live, right? We have a whole weekend full of fun, creative fun. I can't wait to sit back and watch. Definitely be inspired. And if you make these, please tag me on Instagram. It's just my name, Shemi Dixon. And I will share your work. Love seeing all of your amazing work. Okay. Kind of a quick little cleanup here. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to grab my altered book journal, which I put somewhere. Okay. And this is just an old Reader's Digest book. I love using these, and I just tear out about half of the pages in them, and then I create in them. So it's so much fun. So I have these big clips, and I just fill it up in whatever way I like, in whatever order. There's definitely not an order, and it's just really fun. So I'm going to open this page, and we're going to grab some washi tape. Because I don't know about you, I always have an overabundance of washi tape. But if you don't have washi tape, you can just use your paper scraps. Just tear them into strips. Okay, so you don't have to worry. And I have masking tape, and then I just picked some blue colors of washi tape and a metallic and just some black and white. Right, so very simple. And we're going to be working on this page here. And I'm just going to start by putting the washi tape down. And I'm going to create like a frame. Okay, and it's not supposed to be down perfectly. And I'm just grabbing just whatever pieces speak to me. Have you guys seen those beautiful aprons for Wanderlust Live? Those are so great. I love a good apron. I have a friend, Diana. She's an expert sewer, and she lives in Colorado. And she used to watch me on YouTube, and we met in person. We've been friends forever. She's such a wonderful person. But she made me this beautiful craft apron that I absolutely love. It's so important to have an apron when you're working. Kind of when I put mine on, I'm like, okay, it's time to get creative. So that was fun. It's very colorful. So I'm just putting down pieces of tape, and you see that I'm like just tearing them down. Nothing too fancy here. And the pieces are completely irregular. Right? And you can think about it so you can put things on in odd numbers. I think that that's an important thing to think of. You can always have those elements of art, right? And I am using a lot of neutrals too. I think that that's important in your art too, for things to be a little bit cohesive, and it makes everything pop if you use kind of darker colors too, even if it's not black. I know some people don't like black. I love black, but I know it can be a little bit intimidating, and it does kind of wash things out if you misuse it. Okay, just like that. But I love having neutrals, and I meant to grab a black and white washi tape too. There we go. We'll use this guy. I'm getting low. I love black and white washi tape. I'll do this one. And I'm not filling in all the gaps. We're going to cover this with pink because I want the text to kind of go back in the background. So we don't have to worry about that. grab that. And I'm going to add this piece here just because I kind of like the way that looks. And I'm going to add one more piece here. And then we're going to lift up this clip and we'll just put it down here maybe. When you're working at the back of the book, it's always like the hardest for it to be flat. Has anyone ever saw that? Oh, thank you for the super chat. You were so awesome. That's the first time I ever got a super chat. Thank you. I just saw the blue. I'm sorry. That's awesome. Thank you. This one. There we go. Alrighty, so I like the way that looks. So it's interesting. I'm going to add just a little bit of gold. And hopefully you see just how quickly you can create art, right? It doesn't take that long. And there are some days, where you want to be in the studio for hours and hours, and that's great. But sometimes you just want to have a little self-care time and do something easy and simple. Okay, so that looks great. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to remove these out of the way. I'll put them in my yogurt container. I use these for water and also to store things into. Alrighty, and you can add, let's do some masking tape too. Kind of neutralizes everything. It's a neutral color. I love the way it looks when you layer things on top of it. And you're just going to need just some white paint or an off-white paint. I think that's what I'm going to use. And just another color. So I'm going to use blue because I use blue washi tape. So easy, easy, easy. Okay. I'm going to kind of push this so it's like this. And I might put something on the other side. I should probably not have picked the back of my book. That's okay. So I'm just going to take this is just an antique white, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of my page, just like that. And I have this pretty blue. These are just craft paints. In my journal, that's primarily what I use, but you should use whatever speaks to you. Oops. Now I'm going to grab a brush here, and I'm just going to wash back that text a little bit. And then I'm going to go into some of these areas and just add a bit of color, kind of blend out some of the washi. And you can, of course, apply glue to the washi if you want. But because I'm going over it with a layer of glue, I think it will be fine. And if it comes up, I'll just glue it down. Just like that. And we can go on the sides here, maybe up in here would be great. But then you just kind of get those pops of that beautiful color, just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to just go right on my paper here, my paper palette, and I'm going to get a lot of the color off. And then I'm going to just go in with some blue, but just in certain places. And I can even use my fingers for this. Maybe I won't. Everyone thinks that I just finger paint. So I'm going to just use a brush, even though I'm so tempted to do finger painting. I love to finger paint. And we can even add a little bit into our background there. Okay, so we have about 4 blobs. Let's add another one here. And if I went a little bit too far, see, couldn't help myself here. And it's pulling up the paint a little bit, but I don't mind that. Then you can take a baby wipe and you can wipe it back. So maybe I want to show a little bit more of that gold. These magical tools, baby wipes, I think are essential in the studio. I taught in-person classes. Oh my gosh, it was so great. A man took my class. It was so funny. And he called me because I had given them a supply list. And he was like, I'm in the aisle with the baby wipes. What kind should I get? There's so many different kinds. And I told him, it doesn't matter what kind you get. They all work the same. They all work really, really well, but it was so funny. And he was this really well-known abstract artist, and he came to my class. Oh, his work was so beautiful, so many details, but he did not know how awesome baby wipes were. Alrighty, so I think that looks great. That looks cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add our flower. So you can pick whatever flower you want. This one I really love. I think I'll use this one. And I just put a word in there. So I just took a piece of text and put it in there. And I'm going to put it right on my page. But I love the way that that looks. And I think that we need to add a little bit more to this background. So I'm going to grab some black paint. And I'm going to do some splatters. Maybe I'll move some of this out of the way. Okay. Oops, and my glue is leaking there. This is what happens. This is why it always gets clogged, and then I have to take a skewer. I leave it open. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and squirt out a little bit of black paint. I don't need very much. Actually, I could probably even take the cap off. That should be perfect. And we're going to create a splatter. And that's going to kind of bring everything together. I know that I have a lot of white space, so I definitely want to cover that up a bit. And I did use a dirty brush because then it will soften the colors. And then I have the colors that I used in that black. So it's not a stark black. And I'm going to take it, and I use my fingers when I flick, and I'm going to flick over the color. Make sure that you do not have your phone when you are splattering near. I had to get a new phone case. Thank goodness I keep my phone in a phone case because it was crazy. So I love the way that that looks. That looks really cool. If you wanted to, of course, you could add even another piece of paper to kind of bring that out. I think that'd be cool too. Or what do I have here? I have just a piece of fabric. Maybe we'll add that. Just whatever. And this is just a scrap. Scraps are good. Yeah, and that kind of just brings this off the page, I think. Just makes it a little bit more interesting. So that's cool. Ready? And grab my old trusty stapler here. You can absolutely use glue. That would work out great. And just figure out how you want it. I think I like it like that. Looks cool. Okay, and then we're going to grab the glue. And then if you wanted to, you could add even more words. We might add a few words here. I'm going to put that down and then put my flower down. And I know it's hard to see because this is not exactly flat, but I can kind of tell. Wonderful. I like the way that that looks. Okay, and then if we want to, we can add even more words. So I have some, oops. So I do have a printable that I created. We could do that. Begin. To dream bigger. To be at peace. To be okay with rest. So those are all good. So I think maybe we'll use one of those. And then I have these Tim Holt stickers. I'm going to do B, but I don't have a B sticker on here. So what I'm going to do is just cut off the B. Oh, wow. I am so glad you guys are enjoying. I'm so happy to be here with you. It's so much fun. I have to definitely live stream more. Okay, so B, begin. 2. What am I talking about? B. Begin 2. Begin 2. I need a T-O. Okay, so let's see if we can find a D-O. Oh, 2. I do have one of those. See how distracted I get? Again. 2. And I don't think it has to be in order. I mean, it's kind of going to be like a puzzle page. So you start here and then you go up there. I don't know. Maybe I can draw a line or something. To dream bigger. I kind of like that one. Yeah, let's do that one. I cannot wait to see your beautiful scrappy flowers. And I have just some paint or some glue. So begin to dream bigger. I think that will go together. Yeah, so that is the way that it looks. And I love the way that this turned out. Looks kind of cool. And if you want to, you can go in with a pen and kind of just make things pop a little bit. So we can go in with some kind of pen I was using. And just paint is not dry. I'm being very bad with these pens right now. Wait for things to dry. Do not be like me. Okay. I think we're okay though. I just want just a little bit of black to kind of pop out the 2. I can even take my fingers and kind of just, oops, now I did it too much. You can't see the 2. But that's okay. And what I love about creating is you find ways to fix things, because especially when you're me. So it works out. It does. And I'm just going to scribble this out to get the white ink out. And let's give that a second to dry. Then we'll add the 2 in there, and then it'll be my own hand. So really fun. I think we're good now. Yep. Okay, so I think that just kind of popped it out a little bit. Very nice. So that is the way that our page looked, and we made it with our wacky paper scrap flowers. I had to remember that title because it's a long one. Alrighty. So let me see here. I think we have so I think we're good. So I love the way that this turned out. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to kind of pull over. My computer's a little bit far away. Let's see. Oh, Helen, I'm so glad you're making the flowers. Oh, I am so glad that you're joining Wanderlust. I can't wait to see your beautiful art. I'm super excited for my lesson. And as I said, Wanderlust is on sale right now, so you can use the link to join us. And does anyone have any questions? I can answer. Oh, I'm so glad that you found it fun. Oh, you're a delight too. Thank you for being here. Well, thank you guys so much. I don't see any questions, but if you have any, you can leave them in the comments and I'll reply to them. And thank you so much for joining me. And I am doing another lesson too. So we're going to take leaves. So if you have autumn leaves, press them in a book, and we're going to use them in our journal in a fun way too. So I hope you'll join me same time for tomorrow's lesson too. And I'm going to stop here so you guys can hop on to the other live. And thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to see your amazing flowers. I'll see you guys later. Happy creating.